Hi Tarot Tube, today is December 4th, 2018. Got that wrong yesterday. Sometimes when you do reads for people, they don't really know what they want to talk about, and it's always sort of better to have a prompt because that sort of gives you a frame of reference to work with, and it helps like set the tone for the conversation and everything. So occasionally people will just ask about a particular time frame. They'll say, you know, what's next year going to look like for me? What's next month going to look like for me? And whenever that happens, there's a useful spread called the fixed term analysis spread. I know it sounds like a accounting type thing, but it's actually a tarot thing. And so I'm going to do that today. And let's talk about what the remainder of our January is going to look like. All right. Four of Swords, the Star, Seven of Pentacles, King of Cups, Page of Pentacles. I've been seeing a lot lately of Seven of Pentacles and Page of Pentacles. So I think that's particularly relevant because we have been doing a lot of spreads relating to the end of the year, January and all that. So Four of Swords, this first position represents matters of the mind. So we may be talking about like creative projects, intellectual projects, maybe just sort of like your state of mind in some way. And Four of Swords is all about rest. It's all about, you know, you've completed one phase, maybe it was like particularly difficult, maybe, you know, maybe you succeeded, maybe you failed, I don't know. It doesn't really say much about the valence there, but it does say that you are in a position to need rest. So I think that when we get to January here, like it's a time where people, you know, are often like stressing to get things done. They're stressing to like commit to their New Year's resolutions, and this card kind of tells us to maybe take a step back and treat it like a little bit more thoughtfully. If we have new creative projects, maybe spend some time, you know, in early January, sort of just like taking stock of everything, making sure you know exactly what you can accomplish, and then prioritize correctly so we accomplish the right things as opposed to just the most exciting things. And through this contemplation, I think we're going to get some better results in January here. Now, the second card, this represents matters of the heart. And so what we're seeing today with the Star is all about fate. Oftentimes with the Star, you get similar ideas to Wheel of Fortune, the idea of things having been set in the stars long ago, the idea that like things which occur were destined to occur. And to me, the Wheel of Fortune represents sort of like the more practical, like cause and effect, you know, that exists in the physical world. The Star represents more of like the spiritual inevitability of things. The Star begs questions about free will. I've been hearing a lot of people talk lately about free will as a concept, asking the question of, you know, are you free? When you eat an apple, is it because you really wanted to eat an apple, or was it just because you were hungry? You know, and there was some kind of like a cause and an effect. I am of the belief that there is free will, that, you know, the idea of determinism doesn't necessarily preclude free will, and that we do not know where consciousness comes from. I don't think we can come to the conclusion that, you know, free will just doesn't exist for the same reasons that I'm fairly certain that I am sentient. In any case, the third card here represents matters of like the body, we say. So this might be like wealth, it might be like practical financial concerns, and it's good to see a Pentacles card there. That generally bodes well. And we have been seeing a lot of Seven of Pentacles lately, and Seven of Pentacles is all about reaping what we've sown. It's about this moment of contemplation right before the harvest, where you're looking out at your bountiful fields, and you're saying, okay, here's what I have grown, and here's what I'm about to reap. And it's like a moment of pride, and it's a pride that you deserve, because good things are about to happen to you. And again, it's great to see this in the body position, because it does indicate that you're going to see some good financial rewards for the work that you've been putting in the past, and you're actually going to see them this month. Like, things are going to actually start to come to fruition here. There's not a 100% certainty to this card. We do say, while you're looking out at the field and there is all that wheat there are still things that can go wrong. So it's not a time to sit back and just sort of take it easy. You do have to continue to put in the hard work. You have to do the harvest. But if you work hard, good things will come. Now, we get into the time elements here on the bottom row. King of Cups, these are like past influences. These are things that have occurred maybe like in December that are going to continue to have sort of like an influence on our present. And again, as I've said before, when we get to these draws that have more cards, the court cards are more likely to represent actual people, but they can still have their figurative meanings. So I'll talk about both, and you can decide what it means for you. King of Cups, so he is often compared to Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar, for all the credit he gets as an excellent conqueror, he was primarily a leader through alliances and diplomacy. He was an incredibly communicative leader, and he knew how to get other people to do work for him. And so what we're looking for here is somebody in the past who is likely, like a boss, but a good boss, who, is sort of maybe a father figure, who's a great communicator, who's been really helpful for you, maybe some kind of mentor, and that person's going to be really important coming into this month. He's given some kind of like lasting influence on you, and you might want to think back to the lessons that this person has given you, and that might prove very useful during the month. Now, Page of Pentacles is a card that to me in this case represents news about some particular, like kind of like financial outcome. And I think given its position next to the Seven of Pentacles, I think that we're looking at like a figurative meaning here. And so this position represents, what we're going to be experiencing like as we exit the time period. So, come end of January, expect to see some kind of really, really great financial news. Maybe that's going to be the news of this harvest in some way, and that's why I think it's important that we remember that we should be contemplating during the month. Like, we should be very, very thoughtful as we approach that. We should continue to work hard, and remember that there are some things that are just out of our control. There are certain things that are sort of just like set in the stars. And so Page of Pentacles tells us that as we get to the end of this, we are going to expect to see some great news. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to things that look like, bringers of messages, and we're going to see some really great results from that. So this bodes well for January. Maybe we'll do this spread at the beginning of every month or something like that. As always, please like and subscribe, and be well.